focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment, and by Proforma, Elite Texas Graphics. Live, Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
What a round we had at Interlagos just a week ago. Now we head back into the United States of America to Barber Motorsports Park. It's a circuit that's not so often used in iRacing, but today we'll have over 40 cars, 3 classes of cars, ready to kick off action for the third round of Season 16 for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. It's presented by Proforma, Elite Texas Graphics, and all coverage today is on Apex Racing TV around this 3.6 kilometer circuit. It's just under 2 miles. Now, it's a circuit that incorporates 15 corners. Now, the confusing part about a layout like this is you've got corners such as 7A, 7B, you got 14, 14A. So it's always in discussion as to how many legitimate corners there are around Barber. But what is not argued is how thrilling this is to drive. A lap around Barber is ever thrilling. It's a minute and a half for our quickest guys in that Audi TCR. And it's going to be 60 minutes of action coming up as usual. Our typical race format. That will be quite exciting. Don't forget what happened a week ago. I can't wait to see the action here today from Barber. From myself, Jonathan Simon, welcome to the broadcast. Tyler Maxton's alongside me again. Visit the Extreme Motorsports website below, as you can see. But Tyler, goodness me, Barber is a circuit with a lot of elevation change. And can I brag as much as possible, because I don't get the chance to do so often. but I did set the world record here in 2014 in the IndyCar, and I'm hopefully proud that maybe no one's beaten it since. But I'm going to have to look at that maybe midway through the race to keep ourselves occupied.
Yeah, Barber is certainly a challenging circuit here in Alabama. We have 3 classes of cars, like you said. MX-5's currently in qualifying, and it's going to be a tough 1 minute and 30 seconds for the guys in the TCR class. It is a quick track, some very quick and challenging corners, especially in a front-wheel drive car, is going to make it very, very difficult to keep those front tires intact over this 60-minute race we have on hand tonight.
And Kevin Ford is our track guide extraordinaire today. He's got another one coming up for Barber. He's going to take you around this thrilling 3.6 kilometer circuit. It's one, like I said, that's quite enjoyable to drive.
Welcome, viewers, to Barber Motorsports Park here in Birmingham, Alabama. Great to have you with us today for your track guide in the Ford Mustang around this beautifully landscaped 2.38-mile road course. A road course that actually opened in 2003 as a motorcycle racing track, and to this day still is the home of the world's largest motorcycle historical museum. It sits just outside of Turn 8 down here, which we'll show you momentarily, but it didn't take long for the auto racing industry to get its grips here, and since 2010 the IndyCar series has been featured here at Barber Motorsports Park. So let's go ahead and head down your front straightaway here to Turn 1. You're going to see why I refer to this course as the roller coaster of road racing, as there's a lot of elevation changes at this course, and Turn 1 is certainly one of them. Coming down here into Turn 2, you're going to have to get a nice wide entry here, carry that radius and momentum down the hill and back up the hill into Turn 4 and onto this short straightaway. A lot of passing opportunities coming down this hill into Turn 5. Drivers will get hard on the brakes as they come down into this real tight 180, which opens up on exit. A lot of throttle control out of here, so you don't break that back end and that traction loose. Coming around 6 here, we will head down another short straightaway to Turns 7 and 8. This is a tight corner here. It's a tight chicane downhill to the right. Drivers will have to get hard on the brakes to make this exit. There's the museum up on your left up there. Coming out of Turn 8, we will head to the 9-10 fast chicane on the backstretch. Very important for drivers to not take a lot of curb here. Make sure they get a good run through this section. One of the fastest portions on the course. Coming down to the 11 and 12 section, which is the roller coaster area, drivers will come down through here very fast, up over this crest, right to the edge of the track, down into 13, and up this fast entry into 14. Drivers will be hard on the brakes going down through the gears. They want to stay tight on exit to get that wide entry into Turn 15 to get a quick run down that front straightaway. Beautiful course, and we appreciate your time with the track guide here at Barber Motorsports Park. Thank you for watching.
So qualifying is currently taking place. It's presented by Performer Elite Texas Graphics. Now for us, Tyler, we're still having a breather from round 2 at Interlagos. It was a chaotic one for sure. And the biggest aspect that I can think of is, yes, there was a lot of racing action between classes of cars, but traffic was an issue as well at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. Today at Barber, it's going to be an ever tough challenge because this circuit's more difficult to overtake at than Interlagos, and it's very narrow and lots of elevation change. It's not going to be the easiest one to make your way around traffic.
No, it certainly isn't. And whenever you add in the fact that the TCR cars are going to struggle with the tire wear today, all the elevation change means that they're just going to be spinning up those front tires on those TCR cars. I would expect drivers to just take 2 fronts in the pit stop. But like you said, the traffic here is going to be the biggest question mark. If you can manage the traffic well, you're going to have an amazing chance at picking up a race win today, because that is going to be the biggest factor of it. And it's just going to be the biggest challenge that these guys are going to have to deal with. There's not a whole lot of time, to be honest, between the TCR guys and the GS guys, especially the back of the TCR field or the front of the GS field, there really isn't a whole lot in it. So I think that it's going to be a lot of mingling between different classes today, and drivers are really going to have to just try and keep focused on what they're actually there for.
Yeah, and they're also focused on that championship, which we'll have up on screen now. Starting off with our TCR field. Now, it's been William Laster with 2 race wins to begin the season. Number 1 was very easy at Sebring, of course, but the F4H racing driver had his work cut out for him, didn't he, Tyler, at Interlagos? He had a collision with Kevin Carlisle, who was also strong for the lead. Today in qualifying so far, Laster will start no greater than 5th.
Yeah, William Laster not having the greatest qualifying session, but honestly, neither did Kevin Carlisle. I mean, he starts down in 3rd. A new pole sitter, though, Geoff Appelgren, goes to the pole for Nerdworks Racing, and then Chad Parker makes it up into 2nd place. So 2 drivers who are a little bit further down in the championship are able to grab the top 2 positions, and then the closest competitor to the top of the standing, is Kevin Carlisle.
Yep, Carlisle's one a very strong Apex Racing UK driver, so we'll be biased here from the Apex Racing TV booth, but we'll hope all the best for him. Of course, he's very quick in this car. So is Matthew Madigan, who'll start from 6th, but Chad Parker, Geoff Appelgren starting on provisional pole, or on pole confirmed, is a great performance from him. But when we switch over to our Mustang class, this is your Grand Sport Pro Division. They're driving that Ford Mustang. Now, Iro Nom and Mike Dam tied for the championship lead. We saw Iro Nom not win a race for the first time in at least 10 races.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Iro Nom has not stood on the top step of the podium, but it happened in Interlagos. And right now, it may honestly happen again because, now, while it was incredibly close with 5/100ths of a second, Mike Dam actually tipped Iro Nom for the pole today. So we may not see Iro Nom completely run away with a championship like we have in the previous season. Mike Dam may be here to challenge him.
Yep, Mike Dam has looked ever racy. He's made the switch from the MX-5 over to the Mustang again this season. Remember, he made that switch to the MX-5 for one season, missed out in the championship by a point. He'll be hungry in that Crypto-G Orange racing car, number 93. So look out for the Canadian here in today's event. But we'll have a look at your MX-5 class. This is one of the most entertaining fields we've had over the past few seasons here for the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Elvis Rankin with the championship lead. It's been a breakthrough year for him, Tyler. And it's been a year, I think, now 2 race wins to begin not only his season, but his first 2 race wins of his career. He'll be hoping to make it 3.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start a season. He's never won a race in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series until Sebring, the start of this championship. And what a time, I mean, just what a time to do it. Comes out with a championship lead heading into Barber. We're round 3 out of what is, I think, either a 9 or 10 round championship. So now, while we still have a long way to go, he's currently sitting at an 8-point lead over a very, very strong DJ Alessandrini.
And we know Robert Hartley's in the standings there. He's got 23 points. So excuse the error at the bottom end of the standings. But Robert Hartley is on provisional pole today. He missed last round at Interlagos. We know he had his... We have no idea if he's related to Oliver Hartley, but we know he had Oliver Hartley representing the Hartley name. But Rob Hartley's back in action again in the cockpit. He's got provisional pole for the moment, and he'll be looking to claim his first win of the season, our champion from season 15. Here are your ST Open standings. Jason Bossie's been strong to begin the campaign, along with Greg Mack and Derek Holland. Now, a lot of names in the Open standings, of course, including our illustrious, Tyler, Race Marshall in the 999 car.
Yeah, the Race Marshall all the way down there at the bottom, but qualifying is just now ended. We don't have much time left to go through here. But the Open standings, they are the biggest, and it is the most entry level into the series. So they won't be as decorated as your pro standings. We have 3 pro classes, 1 Open class in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, but we don't have too much more time until we get ready to go racing here from Barber.
Be an entertaining one, 60 minutes of racing action. Now, pit stops are coming up, Tyler, during the race. The strategy will not differ compared to other races for our hour format. So we're expecting our Mustangs and the MX-5 classes, that's your GS and ST classes, we're expecting them to come in around that 20 to 35, 40-minute mark at latest. Your Audi TCRs will run a bit longer. They'll come in around 30 minutes, but probably no longer than the 45-minute mark. So we're expecting now, if you're an Audi TCR and you make an early pit stop, it's going to have to be a bold move.
Yeah, it most certainly is. And the other thing, too, with these cars, you don't want to make an early pit stop because of the tire wear. I mean, those front tires are going to take an absolute beating here today. And it's just going to be a really tough challenge. When those tires get super burned out in that Audi TCR, they can become quite the handful to try and deal with because the rear tires really don't get worn, as the grid is now up on your screen.
And it'll be Jeff Appelgren starting on pole position for the Nerdworks Racing team. His teammate, Matt Madigan, is down the order in 6th, but look at the all-star cast we have in between. William Laster, our championship leader, will start from 5th. Carlisle, who could have easily been a race winner at Interlagos, will be hungry to make amends for that. And look out for Chad Parker and Brandon Whitworth in those 2 D2D esports cars. Behind the top 6 are another 2 D2D esports pair. That's Eric Violet and Bobby Childs. Tony Kernan, who, Tyler, we had a laugh before the broadcast. We got him mixed up with Tony Kanaan because I read it too quickly. I thought it was the real Tony Kanaan racing for a second.
Yeah, I can't say that I didn't either. You know, I was kind of excited. I was like, wow, look at that. But then, no, we read the name wrong. Still, an awesome addition to the series. We haven't seen him racing in the previous 2 rounds. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on here for his first round from Barber.
And then for our pole position for the GS class, it will be Mike Dam starting from 12th. They'll start separately here, so don't get confused by that. Ironom will start from 2nd. He's already got his work cut out for today's event. Look out for Daniel Rash, of course. Daniel Rash has been ever quick. Starting from P3, Clint Vargas behind as well. Some other notable names include Tyler Shiflett, too. 2 Motorsports drivers have been quick, but Todd Hontrazenko will start from the 4th position, and the Thick Skull Racing driver will be looking to provide a challenge, of course, to those Mech Motorsports drivers who just fill out the podium, with Kevin Ford starting from 19th, of course, ahead of Steve Daniel, Russ Ruddock, and Cameron Martineau. Now, don't forget, Kevin Ford himself is, of course, the Vice President of Extreme Motorsports, also racing out here today, and he does a brilliant job making this series what it is. So thanks, of course, to him. He represents the Ricmotech Motorsports team. Then we'll look at the ST order. And it'll be shuffled between Pro and Open, but they all qualify together. Robert Hartley will start from pole. He'll be 24th overall. Elvis Rankin will start behind. They're 8 seconds off the pace of the TCR, so the TCR cars have to be careful of that when it comes to lapping them. Elvis Rankin, will he be knocked off the top step of the podium for the first time? But this is a strong field. Jim List, a brilliant qualifying performance in 3rd, but Tyler, Jim List in the D2D esports cars, look at the 3 drivers he starts ahead of. John Allen, Travis Schrenke, and DJ Alessandrini. 3 of the best MX-5 drivers on the planet for iRacing.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're 3 of the best in the league as well. They are really... Jim List, is really doing an amazing job here. He may be looking to take his first race win of the season, and if he can do it, that would have been the first one who can knock Elvis Rankin off his currently undefeated winning streak here in Season 16.
And it'll be a full pace lap around Barber, as you can see, so it'll be all 15 corners. We're coming towards one of the most thrilling corners on the circuit here. This is turn 7, where it dips down into the braking zone, Tyler. You just throw it in here, straight line this as much as possible. There's some curbs to help make the ride a little bit more fun, but this corner right here is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it certainly is one of the best corners on the racetrack. We do have the courtesy of having the curb cam there, so you can really see the drivers just full on attack that corner there. It is such a fun corner to drive in real life. It is a pure drop down when you go into there. It's something like, I don't even know, like 30 or 40 feet of elevation change in a very, very short period of time. Oh, man, it's certainly a fun one.
Certainly is. coming towards the end of the lap here. This is going to be a pretty simple start, really. The run down to turn 1 is extremely short. It's a medium speed corner, and those first few will help the field form up. But when it comes to making up positions, yes, it's a 60-minute race, but it's quite a short one. It's not a super sprint format. But when you think about it, those 60 minutes fly by like there's no tomorrow. For now, though, Jeff Appelgren with his first pole position for the season in that number 7 will be ready to kick off proceedings here for round number 3, season 16 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Jonathan Simon in the commentary booth, Tyler Maxson alongside me. We're live on Apex Racing TV. We are green on Apex Racing TV. The TCR of Jeff Appelgren will scream into turn 1. Now, who's going to lead so far? Those cars bouncing over the curbs, and luckily, no one's off the racetrack for the moment, but it'll be Chad Parker in second. Kevin Carlisle shuffled off into the marbles. He's going to lose a position here to William Laster, possibly. Here's the beginning of the race for our GS class. How about Aero Nom around the outside?
Aero Nom challenging into turn 2. It's a very tricky corner for Mike Dam to try and hold it round the outside, but he's done it here thus far, and Aero Nom will take the lead as he gets a squirm. That's not going to help him.
Well, into 7 they go here. Into turn 5, excuse me. Aero Nom trying to make the outside line work yet again, but the Canadian of Mike Dam, he's having none of it. And they're still going to be alongside each other here. Now heading into 7. This is where you have to really head into it single file. Now, we'll keep an eye on the MX-5 start, but this is a thrilling battle. Aero Nom slots himself ahead into the lead.
So we jump back here to MX-5 action. They've already worked their way through turns 1 and turn 2. Robert Hartley, unsurprisingly, has held on to the race lead. Elvis Rankin has slot into second. DJ Alessandrini, what a start from him. He's up to third.
Brilliant stuff from DJ. And we talked about it, Jim Liss having the worst start he could have hoped for. I mentioned those 3 drivers, didn't I, Tyler? Of Alessandrini, John Allen, and Travis Schwenke. And they've all made their way past Jim List.
Yeah, they have all pounced hard, haven't they? They are really working their way forward. They've done an amazing job to get themselves up very quickly here on the opening lap.
And still John Allen on screen here in the Defined Auto Works car. So he's somebody who's looking to claim a race victory for sure. Elvis Rankin is the one who has been yet to be knocked off the top step of the podium. We ride on board with Rankin. And that's the end of the first trip around Barber. No change for your top 2 between Hartley and Rankin. Here's Jeff Appelgren leading the field away. He's set the purple time. Quickest lap to begin the race. But down the back end of the order, Madigan's dropped the spot here to Eric Violet.
So Matt Madigan, he hasn't had the greatest start here. He's lost 1 position, but all over the back of Eric Violet. Just looking just one position, or just a little bit ahead of him. Kevin Carlisle as well has lost a position to a D2D sports driver. So D2D off to an amazing start here in this race.
Brilliant stuff from the D2D esports team. I joke around, there's a million of them out there, but they're all phenomenal on the right day. And definitely one of the classiest teams out there in the world of sim racing for sure, Tyler, as we watch Tony Kernan.
Yeah, the new driver to the league, and you can see there at the bottom of your screen. Incident between cars 17 and 60 is under review, so I'll have to try and figure out what happened there. That was down in your MX-5 field. That was Jason Boss and Chris Thorman, who's dropped a load of positions here.
So action taking place to begin the race. We saw an incident being investigated by race control, so we'll keep you posted on that. The critical news so far, no, actually, this might be the incident between the 17 and 60. It is. Chris Thorman's in the 60. And Chris Thorman turned around there. So that's the 17, of course, of Jason Bossy, who leads our ST Open standings. And it's a tough one to judge, Tyler, for sure. It was a hungry opening lap, so if I was race control, I'd let that one go.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one to call because really, Jason did have the inside line there heading into turn number 2, and from my perspective, it looked to me like he just kind of cut over the nose of him, did Chris Thorman, but we'll leave that up to race control to decide, and we'll see what they come back with. You can keep up with it on the bottom of your screen, and once they've made a decision, they will post it there. Edgar Sancinelli's off.
Oh, goodness. Here's the Frito Sport Racing yellow driver, and he's made contact with the wall to add salt to the wound. So no further action you saw from Race Control about the incident we saw earlier. So Race Control agrees with us on that one. Here's what's happened to Edgar Sancinelli. Now, I can't see what portion of the racetrack this is at, Tyler. Does this look like turn 1?
That was the uphill right-hander there. It's so easy to go off because you can push just that little bit too much, and then you end up cresting the hill with a little bit too much speed, end up off the track, and then once you're off there, it's really difficult to get back on. It's just the type of corner that it is. Once you're off, you're kind of stuck out there.
Aeronom's been phenomenal on strategy, and that's a story we'll follow throughout today's event. And with the lead so far, sometimes, Tyler, when you're in the lead by only about half a second, you're actually in no man's land when it comes to strategy, because Mike Dam can basically do the opposite to you, and it will work out to Mike Dam's favor. So this is where Aeronom needs to start pulling a gap away here from the Canadian.
Yeah, he most certainly does. And even at a track like this where you're really committed to that pit entry, if you're half a second out ahead, like you said, it's so easy for Mike Dam to opposite you, and it's even harder if you're trying to match Mike Dam to come into the pits whenever he does. So you're pretty much have to do your own thing on strategy, which, let's be honest, Aeronom does that anyway.
Yeah. Don't forget Daniel Rash down there back in the order. He's only a couple tenths behind Mike Dam. So that's pretty close there. The battle for the lead in your GS class. Todd Hontrazenko is also pretty close in the 4th position ahead of Shiflett and Vigas, the two Mac Motorsports drivers. So we talked about those two being in the next battle in that field. That's certainly working out that way. We're currently watching your lead for the Audi TCR class, and look at the gaps on the left-hand side of the screen. You can identify the TCR class by the gray overlay, and I see a lot of orange numbers there, Tyler, and that means the orange numbers, those gaps are within half a second.
Yeah, they are very close indeed, and they're incredibly close for the race lead right now, as you can just see. If you look a little bit further up ahead on your screen, you can see the MX-5 traffic that these TCR guys have already caught up to.
I'm getting excited for this one. We're going to race in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Chad Parker. I'll tell you what, I think Appelgren's getting a little bit herky-jerky there, just trying to maneuver his way around the traffic. This won't do any good towards Jeff Appelgren's stress right now as he's into the cockpit. Here they head through the final corners. There is no room for any of these guys right now. I don't know who I'm more concerned for, the TCRs or the MX-5s.
Yeah, this is certainly a close one indeed. And wow, William Laster nearly went for a move then on Kevin Carlisle. And this just shows how much pace difference there is between the slowest class on the racetrack, the MX-5s, and the fastest in the TCRs.
And that's Madigan awfully close here as they head into turns 2 and 3 here at Barber. We ride on board with the Nerdworks driver. Can slot it up the inside of 5. It's possible at Barber for sure. Aeronom made the outside line work. How about that from William Laster in? He's having to peek up the inside, William Laster. You can identify him in that 142 car. There he is, the F4H racing driver. And by the way, don't let this look deceive you. We're 10 minutes through the race. These are your 6 leaders vying for a race victory.
Yeah, your 6 leaders are absolutely going at it. And this is exactly what I expected to see from the get-go in TCR. These guys, the TCR cars, are just incredibly close racing, and it's showing here today at Barber Motorsports Park. This track fits these cars perfectly.
Have a look at this, heading into the high-speed section of 9 and 10. No, sorry, into 11 and 12, excuse me. And now into the final complex at Barber. And Such a difficult part of the racetrack to drive on your own, let alone lap a few cars around. That was an MX-5 making contact with your race leader, Jeff Appelgren.
And look at this, it's only bunched it up. Matt Madigan here, he may have an opportunity, but he's boxed out between the F4H Racing driver of William Laster and Kevin Carlisle in the ART car. So, wow, Madigan almost, though, made up 2 positions in that one straightaway.
And you couldn't separate Michael Key in that number 98 MX-5. You couldn't separate him only by inches, really, in comparison to your leaders. Through turn 1, looked like there was a bit of contact. Now, while this is taking place, your leaders changed for the GS class. It's Mike Dam who has taken the race lead away from the Estonian of Ironom. And Ironom, after claiming that lead on the opening lap, will concede this time out. And have a look at Daniel Rash, who's looking racy.
Yeah, Daniel Rash, what a start from him. He's now up into P3, or he stayed in P3, sorry. But he's been one of the only 2 that we've been able to see stay with Aeronom and Mike Dam all season. Usually these 2 have just walked away with it, but now they have a new challenger in the form of Daniel Rash.
And Tyler, normally we always look for the MX-5 field to produce the entertainment. Today, though, they're remaining stagnant. All the entertainment's coming from the other 2 classes of cars as Kevin Carlisle's fallen into some issues.
Kevin Carlisle here. What's happened to him? Let's try and get a replay. I think he's gone off. Oh, I think he's gone off the track at the top of the hill.
Let's have a look. So he's alongside William Laster there, and a lot of marbles around the outside. That was never going to work, of course. 2 into 1.
Yeah, certainly not there. Kevin Carlisle wasn't going to back out of it. Neither was William Laster. Carlisle ends up worse of it. But the thing that I love about this, Kevin Carlisle off the track loses an enormous amount of positions, and he's down in 8th place, still battling in the lead group. That's how big this lead group is.
Yeah, Carlisle's only 3.5 seconds away from the race lead, despite being in the 8th position, and we're already 1/6 of the way through this race, so plenty of racing action to go, and a lot's covered already as we watch Whitworth here maneuver his way into the ever-thrilling downhill drop of turn 7. Now onto the back straight.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Just look at how many cars that were all intermingling with each other. There were drivers all over that straightaway.
Well, I mean, this is a good time to whip up the Apex Racing TV track map and have a look at how chaotic this field is right now. Whitworth having troubles through there. Well, I'll tell you what, there's one portion of the racetrack into turns 1 to 5 right now, which is blank. The rest of it, though, is goodness me. Look at the final corner, Tyler.
Yeah, I think that about 2/3 of the field occupy about 1/3 of the racetrack here. And then you can see that it just has the group of your lead MX-5s who are just now coming through turn number 3. And then everyone else kind of occupies the last half to the first part of the racetrack.
Well, no lead changes for your MX-5 field. It's still Robert Hartley leading ahead of DJ Alessandrini, who's had a rapid getaway. I mean, where did Alessandrini start, Tyler? I think he's up 4 positions now. He started 6th, don't forget. He's now up into 2nd. So Alessandrini, the Grid Life iRacers driver, is looking good. He's looking quick. Schwenke would love to be up there with teammate Hartley for the lead, but he's still within contention. But Elvis Rankin has lost that 2nd position whilst we're looking at all the other action. So that's one of the other big things we need to look out for, is Rankin now demoted to 3rd. But we know that Rankin, he's lucked out into a couple victories. Doesn't mean he can't do that today either.
Yeah, I mean, Elvis Rankin, he certainly has the pace to be up in that front group. He's just off the back of Hartley and Alessandrini. And we've seen Elvis Rankin make some pretty nice strategy calls to get himself up in a race-winning position. And if he can win at the Barber Motorsports Park, this is one of the most tricky tracks in the entire United States. And we know how fast Hartley and Alessandrini are. If he can beat them here, I think he can pretty much take them to the challenge anywhere.
And there is the Lil King Racing driver. Now, purple sector for Chad Parker. There he is on screen. 1 second behind leader Jeff Applegren. The field's starting to get spread out here, Tyler, because of the traffic. Parker, though, is trying to make his way past the 61 there. That's Jim List, who has had the worst of starts. Now we see your top class reach the leaders of your bottom class for the first time.
Yes, they're all going through. Here we go, side by side. Kevin Carlisle and Bobby Childs. Carlisle on the outside, Childs on the inside. Bobby Childs is going to walk out ahead in that one. He will maintain 7th place, but Kevin Carlisle is coming on strong, and he's trying to get himself back to the field after contact with Laster.
And Bobby Childs improved, hasn't he, Tyler? He's looking a lot quicker than we usually see him.
Yeah, but he certainly has, as Kevin Carlisle is just going to go right up underneath him and take the spot away. So Childs back to 8th. But yeah, Bobby Childs has really been impressive here lately, and he's definitely come to with this MX or with this TCR. That's Schwanke way off the race circuit as Kernan and Madigan go side by side.
Yeah, so Schwanke with some issues there. He's going to fall down the order behind Jim List. And here's the replay with Travis Schwenke. So this is through the high-speed 9 and 10. Very dangerous around Barber. Now, what's happened to Schwenke here? Has he just got the line wrong? Oh, it was 3 wide. Now, there could have possibly been some ghost contact, unfortunately, I see there.
Let's right on board here with Travis Schwenke just to see. But I think that one of the TCR cars just came over on him then whenever they were 3 wide. Yeah, that was the TCR car of Tony Kernan.
Yeah, that was definitely legit. I think Race Control would look at that, because that damage, to me, if I'm Travis Schwenke, the way I used to argue this as a driver, Tyler, is, yes, I lost, what, 1 position, maybe 1 second, 2 seconds at most. But that damage is going to cost me time for the next 45 minutes. You make it sound worse than it is, and then you get the steward's sympathy, and the other driver gets a penalty. The problem with that is when you waste all your mental energy trying to get someone else a penalty, you don't focus on your race. It doesn't help you gain the time back.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't, and it really can be a real distraction. Like you said, I mean, the time that you could have spent catching the race leaders once again, you've just spent arguing with Stewart, so it's almost better just to take it on the chin and keep on going in this one. And I think that's exactly what Schwenke's going to do, and it doesn't look like Race Control is even investigating that one, so they must not have thought that it was anything too bad to look at. What's happened to Alessandrini?
DJ Alessandrini, that's correct. Alessandrini is not there in your standings. He's dropped down to 6th. There'll be a replay on screen. So this is heading into turn 1. Oh, no. Goodness me. Alessandrini taken out by what looks like one of the leaders in your TCR field. It was hard to see who that was. But that is going to be something else that's going to keep Race Control busy. Was it Tony Kernan? No, I don't think it was Tony Kernan. It looked like...
That was, I believe it was possibly Eric Violet or Brandon Whitworth.
It could have been Brandon Whitworth, because it might have been the 42. I remember seeing the number 42 in the car, but we'll have another look at the replay here. Yep, definitely was Brandon Whitworth. Right on board with Brandon. Now, who's at fault for this, Tyler? Has Whitworth just misjudged the corner?
Yeah, Brandon Whitworth, just a slight misjudge of the corner. It's so easy to do whenever you're going through the lap traffic. As Kevin Carlisle and Tony Kernan, they're side by side. He thinks better of it, and that's certainly the smarter decision there from Carlisle. But he's going to try it again. Down through the downhill S's and back up the hill again. And this time, car 91 and 42 is under review. So that in contact then with the 42 of Whitworth, and the 91 of Alessandrini is under review from Race Control.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Carlisle right now, well, he could make a move here on Mr. Kernan. He's going straight to the inside, and he's going to make that move like it's candy from a baby. Carlisle with a personal best lap. How about Bobby Childs with fastest lap of the race right behind? But Carlisle promotes himself in a 4th. There is the incident under review between cars 16 and 84. So that's, I think they've got the car wrong there. It should be the 42 of Brandon Whitworth and car 16 of Travis Schwenke. So race control will correct that for sure, but they're going to have a look at it, Tyler. And I see a penalty coming in for the D2D Esports driver of Brandon Whitworth.
Now, I think that was also from the other contact, actually, with Tony Kernan and Travis Schwenke on the back straightaway whenever Schwenke went flying off the race circuit. I think that's when that one was from. We already saw the incident under review with the 42 of Brandon Whitworth and the 91 of DJ Alessandrini.
So we've got pit stops coming up again, and this 60-minute event. The racing action is going to continue. It's remaining hot here between Carlisle and Kernan as Carlisle is trying to make a move back into the 4th position. But we're going to take a quick short ad break. We'll follow this battle for the moment. I think Carlisle's going to have the move done. It's going to continue, at least heading into the middle sector. Carlisle... Oh, someone end this, please. Goodness, this is such a good battle right now as Carlisle finally slots himself ahead in the 4th. This is a good time to take a short break as they head into turn 1, because I'm telling you, this battle is going to continue. The racing action coming up shortly, and the pit stops for round 3, season 16 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. So pit stops coming up like we said. Only one car servicing their car so far, and that's been Jeff Jacobs, who enters the pit lane. You can see at the bottom of the screen, quickly services that Ford Mustang. Bobby Child enters the pit lane for the D2D Esports team. So perfect timing here. Welcome back to round number 3, season 16 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. All coverage on Apex Racing TV. Jonathan Simon in the commentary booth. Tyler Maxon alongside me in commentary and production. Tyler, Bobby has entered the pit lane quite early for an Audi TCR.
Yeah, 25 minutes in. It is quite an early stop, but not an impossible one. The tires really start to fall off in that car after about 40 minutes. So he's right on the cusp of what he could do. And I'm liking the strategy call, though. I think it's an interesting one, and it's one that I would love to see more drivers try out.
Well, certainly. There's that lovely spider that we see at Barber around the outside of turn 5. We're trying to cycle through the field here, but whilst all these pit stops are taking place, Tyler, along with Cameron Martineau, comes into the box, there was a penalty to Brandon Whitworth just as we went to the ad break, and he serviced that car now. Brandon Whitworth received a drive-through penalty for his incident with Travis Schwenke.
Yeah, he did have to serve that drive-through penalty. Just quickly, though, I think Mike Dam is possibly having some connection issues with a server because he was flashing in and out there for quite a long time.
Repeat that again. Who was that?
I think Mike Dam, your leader in GS right now, was having a bit of connection issues with the server. It seems to have all worked itself out now, but possibly an issue that could get a bit worse there for Mike Dam.
Yeah, so Mike Dam, exactly. That's interesting. Mike Dam has been leading this race, not the entire way through. He did have pole, but remember he lost that lead at turn 7 on the opening lap to Aeronom. We're watching Elvis Rankin, who's in second for the moment. Rankin's pushing it. He's 1.3 seconds behind. You think it's a good time for Rankin to make a pit stop? I don't know where he'd feed out because at this track, Tyler, you're somebody who drives the Mazda MX-5 in the real world. You're a champion in 2019, of course, too. Will it be smart for Rankin to be in clean air on fresher rubber? He'll probably take 2 tires. Or do you think it's best for him to lap away with the field?
In my opinion, it's best to just continue the way you are. He's really not in all that much dirty air at this point. And I think if he can extend the life of those tires as long as possible, then be on the newest rubber towards the end of the race, that's the best way to do it. But Travis Schwenke and DJ Alessandrini certainly don't think so. They're into the pit lane at 27 minutes in.
Yeah, how about this? Alessandrini out, a lot of damage to his car. Schwenke the same. How difficult is that, Ty? Look at Alessandrini. He missed his pit box because the visibility was limited from Schwenke ahead.
Yeah, he certainly did there. That's not what he would have wanted. Look at Daniel Rash, though. He is all over the back bumper of Aeronom. Your season 15 champion is under attack from the newcomer.
Brilliant stuff here from Daniel Rash. Oh, I saw a lot of smoke. I did see a lot of smoke there. I don't think that was a lockup. Was wondering if someone had a minor spin. So is this what we're focusing on the replay? This could have been Eric Calista. Is in the number 45 there. Yeah, that was where the smoke came from.
So Eric,
and he was hidden, Tyler. Look at the camera. We didn't see him because he was hidden behind the bushes.
Oh, and he nearly rejoined into the path of... I can't actually quite tell who that was there. But he nearly rejoined into the path of one of the other MX-5s then that was coming down the hill. That's such a peculiar place to have a spin because drivers going down the hill can't see you. And really, you can't see them either.
Well, you know those crawling geckos. They're quite, yeah. The races for the crawling gecko motorsport team. Got a Flying Tortoise Motorsport team out there for Russ Ruddock. Got a Nerdworks racing car here of Jeff Appelgren. Have a look and see if he enters the pit lane. He continues. I see... No. That's Mr. Parker behind. Chad Parker continuing away. The 2 leaders not opting for the pit stop. Russ Ruddock, though, like I said, he's in 5th in your GS class. And he's in the box at the moment. There's the Flying Tortoise Motorsports driver. Servicing that car as quickly as possible. Now, Tyler, are you a fan of taking 2 tires? It seems to be the quickest strategy for at least your Mustangs and the MX-5s. For the Audi TCR, we know it takes, you can take all 4 tires at the same time and not lose time.
Yeah, and even in the Audi TCR, it's better to take 2 tires. The rear tires take so long to come up to temperature on that Audi TCR. It makes sense to just run just to get new front tires whenever you come into the pit lane, so you don't have to go through the warming process with those rear tires. But look at this. Jeff Appelgren, he's lost a load of time here to Chad Parker.
Yeah, look at this, half a second, and I think he's lost more time here on the back straight. They're going to dispose of one of the MX-5s there that they're lapping. We ride on board with Parker. And this is through turns 11 and 12. Lots of camber here. Oh, Jeff Appelgren had a moment. I'll tell you what, Tyler, had this car not been a front-wheel drive, I think we could have seen Jeff Appelgren in the wall there.
Yeah, that was quite the moment there, but he used the front-wheel drive to his advantage, and he was able to save it. But look who's in the pit lane. Mike Dam, he's just now exiting it. So Aeronom is taking over the race lead, but Mike Dam has a comfortable provisional race lead once he comes back out, but he's also got TCR traffic coming through.
Yeah, luckily, though, the GS cars aren't that much slower compared to the Mustangs, so he should be able to get away with this because we're half an hour through the race, so we're expecting now your TCR cars to pit. We're expecting these leaders to come in within the next 10 minutes. Here's your Open Championship leader of Jason Bossy servicing right side tires to the Mazda MX-5. But all eyes are on this battle for the lead of your overall class, the TCR.
And Mike Dam has got server issues. He's flashing in and out. This could really not be good here for your what is provisional race leader. Could be having some incredibly severe issues.
That's distracting, isn't it, Tyler, if you're a driver following that?
Oh, it most certainly is. And even if you're a driver that's experiencing it, because you're so worried about when is it going to happen? It's always just running in the back of your mind. When am I going to disconnect? Am I going to disconnect? And that can really distract you sometimes, even if you're the driver who has the issues.
Worst part is one day it happened to me at Indianapolis in an Indy fixed race. And you're in a pack of cars, so it's even worse as Daniel Rash enters the pit lane. But that's something that you got to be careful with. So, and a pack of cars can be worse. On a road course, a little easier. Here's Tony Kernan into the pit lane. Kernan is the only TCR in the pit lane. Daniel Rash had a quick pit stop too. So Daniel Rash has ended up behind Mike Dam by 12 seconds. Oh, that's Eric Violet off the racetrack, and that incident's being under investigated straight away. Eric Violet in the D2D Esports car. Let's have a look. All on his own.
Just locked it up going down the hill, and then that was all the car had. Eric Violet goes for a spin. Luckily, that Audi TCR is built like a tank, so he's able just to go right back off and keep on going.
So it said the race control investigation as Aeronom enters the pit lane. I'll comment on this quickly, but that race control investigation was played at the worst time because whilst we saw Violet spin on his own, he was involved in an incident with the MX-5 there of Michael Key. So we'll keep an eye on that decision from race control. But Aeronom into the pit lane. This is critical, Tyler. Aeronom, we'll see if he can slot himself ahead of Mike Dam.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case as Mike Dam heads onto the front straightaway. Aeronom is still parked. Nom actually may come out way behind Mike Dam here.
You remember, he lost a lot of time pre-pit stop, so for Aeronom, he's going to have his work cut out for him here in this latter stint of the event. It's Todd Hontrazenko, who leads this race so far. It's his first laps of his career here for the Thick Skull Racing team. Now, how do you see this race playing out for the TCR field, Tyler? Do you see Chad Parker possibly entering the pit lane early as we watch Jeff Appelgren on screen? If he laps Mike Dam and pits this lap, it might be perfect timing.
Yeah, it may be, but I'm trying to figure out here. He's lost a lot of time, as actually Elvis Rankin dives into the pit lane. Jordy Fike in as well. But Elvis Rankin has made the jump early here. He's trying to undercut Robert Hartley.
Yeah, Hartley's under attack here with the pit stops. Oh, and here's your leader, Appelgren. I'm struggling to shout, ladies and gentlemen. I lost my voice this week, so excuse me if my voice breaks randomly. Honcharenko is pitted. He's in. He's going to pretty much give up that lead back to Mike Dam. There he is, the Thick Skull Racing driver, number 46. But Jeff Appelgren somehow making his way through the field. Here's Mike Dam approaching that same traffic that Jeff Appelgren just made his way through. And Parker enters the pit lane too, don't forget.
And Robert Hartley's coming in. This is where it gets crucial. Let's see if I can pull up a track map here really quickly between those two drivers and see the differences between Elvis Rankin and Robert Hartley out on the racetrack. We'll see where each one of them decides to pull out. There you go. Rankin in the blue at the top. Hartley stopped in the white on the bottom here.
So right side tires for Hartley. I don't think he'll take lefts. Right on board with Rankin here. This is a critical battle for the race lead, of course. And Rankin, with 2 race wins to begin his season, is looking to make it 3. This pit stop could make or break the race for the young Elvis Rankin here. Out of the pit lane they go. Oh, they're going to be alongside each other for sure, I think here, Tyler. Tell you what, though, Elvis Rankin snatches the lead.
What a strategy call then by Elvis Rankin. He has snatched that race lead. 1.7 seconds clear of Robert Hartley.
Brilliant stuff from Elvis Rankin. John Allen, like we know, is yet to make his pit stop. So the Defined Auto Works driver who leads this field ahead of Robert Brist. Robert Brist is that far behind. He's actually classified overall behind Allen, but Allen leads the field away, and he's yet to make his pit stop. So Elvis Rankin essentially has the lead. Here's the Defined Auto Works driver. So there's some more information from race control, Tyler. No further action between that incident with Violet. Matthew Madigan also in the pit lane now for his one and only pit stop.
Yeah, Matt Madigan into the box this time. We'll see where he comes out. But one thing that I'm interested in, Chad Parker lost a lot of time just before the pit stop as Lucas Ford enters into the pit lane. But just before the pit stop, Chad Parker lost a lot of time to your race leader of Jeff Appelgren. I can't find any incidents here that he's been involved in, so I'm quite interested to know why he lost so much time so quickly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out. Hopefully we can speak to him post-race too. So normally we only speak to the winners from each division. Try and make an exception and see if we can bring Chad Parker on board. But Madigan's still in the pit lane. He's just exited, along with Lucas Ford, who's still servicing the Audi. Madigan all the way down in 9th after the pit stop. But I do see that Appelgren, Carlisle, Laster, and Whitworth, your top 4 have yet to enter the pit lane, along with Edgar Sanchinelli. So we'll keep an eye on those battles here. It's getting quite late, though, Tyler, to be honest with you. Are they leaving those pit stops late because it takes so long to heat up those rear tires here with a front-wheel drive Audi?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly could be, or they're just waiting until they're in the most optimal time possible to take only fronts so that they don't have to heat those rear tires up. Because if they don't have to take the rears, it's the best possible strategy for them, because it'll, A, to save them time on the racetrack and getting those rear tires heated up, and as well, it could possibly even save them a bit of time in the pit stop phases.
And that is your championship leader, William Laster. Surfacing that car. It looks like it's hovering in midair there. It's quite a bizarre look. But Laster will be out and away as quickly as possible. Another incident under investigation there. We'll keep you posted on that. So with a couple of cars down the back end of the order in your MX-5 field. Whitworth is very slow. Let me tell you that much. The D2D esports driver, I don't think he was able to spot his pit box.
Yeah, I don't think that Braden Whitworth actually knew where his pit box was there. I think he was a little bit confused on where that one was. It's a kind of a rare mistake there. We don't usually see Whitworth not know where his pit box is, but John Allen's into the pit lane, and he's rolling, but it doesn't matter because Elvis Rankin and Robert Hartley have already cleared him.
Yeah, this is critical for Hartley right now. It needs a race victory after missing round 2. How about your leader, Jeff Applegren? He's into the pit lane finally. As we ride on board with Hartley, Carlisle joins Jeff Applegren. The both of them will be searching to come out in those same positions.
I think Carlisle's got a problem then, or he's enabled the pit limiter early because he is very slow down that hill.
Yeah, we'll be searching for his box. Hopefully visibility isn't too limited. Applegren will have, Jeff Applegren had pole, didn't he, Tyler? So he'll have the furthest pit box. Carlisle should be able to see his box here. Should be behind Applegren, and there it is, confirmed.
So Carlisle and Applegren into the pit lane. Let's see where Chad Parker is able to slot himself out. I'm going to imagine it's going to be just behind Jeff Applegren here. Edgar Sancinelli as well joins them in the pit lane. Let's see when Applegren grows. He's off the jacks. So is Parker. Parker and Applegren side by side. Chad Parker's going to take over the race lead.
Don't forget, though, Applegren's going to warm up those tires, so it's going to take a couple of laps here to make a move on Parker. They're right behind each other right now, nose to tail. And the Nerdworks racing driver could have conceded that race win. This race in the pit stop phase. There's a drive-through penalty for the 07 car, so we'll keep you posted on who that is. It's certainly someone down the rear end of the order in your X5 field, but the lead and the win is on here between Parker and Applegren.
Yeah, the battle for the race lead is on. Applegren back into second place. Chad Parker, he's been out on these tires for a few laps. He will know the conditions, but it's all about the traffic management. We said that in the pre-race, and we're going to show it to you here. Chad Parker gets held up behind the GS traffic. That's going to open up the door for Jeff Applegren.
Applegren's in that purple Nerdworks car. Oh, they got the 67 there of Steve Daniel and the Mustang in the way. So if you're Steve Daniel here, Tyler, how do you react to this? Just don't pull any moves wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to hold your line as the driver in front, as Bobby Childs is off the racetrack, and I think he's off and into the wall.
Bobby Childs with issues. He was driving so well this race too. There he is right behind Russ Ruddock, that is. Oh, and Ruddock's just completely unaware of Bobby Childs' presence. And that is going to be a penalty incoming to Russ Ruddock.
Yeah, look at this, side by side for the race lead. Jeff Applegren's just going to slot in front of Chad Parker. Parker is fighting back here. They were side by side all the way through the corner, and he's still going back at him, Chad Parker.
Yeah, that 07 car is Brian Cummings, by the way, at the bottom of the screen. But this is a thrilling battle for the lead. Applegren back in a P1. If you're Parker, you're going to pounce back quickly. We got 4-wide action up ahead, by the way. Just so you know, Parker with some mid-corner oversteer through 7 almost lost the car.
A good thing is it's not all that hard in these MX-5s or in these TCR cars. They are front-wheel drive. They can pretty much be easy save. If you just floor it, they will pretty much tow themselves back around in the correct direction. But Jeff Applegren, he's gained about half a second. Now he's going to lose it here to Chad Parker as he gets held up behind these two Mustangs.
And have a look at that in the final sector. The sun starting to shine bright, and that could heat up the racetrack here. And that could help some of these TCR drivers to heat up that rubber as they head through. Oh, there's so much traffic. I'm getting stressed as we ride on board with Parker here. 3 wide across the main straight.
3 wide down and towards turn number 1. They're all going to be able to survive here quite smoothly. Chad Parker still looking for a move on Jeff Applegren. I think that Parker needs to get back ahead of Applegren because Applegren has the newer tires. He will have the advantage later on into the race, and you don't want him to already be out ahead. You want him to be trying to fight past you.
Yeah, and now there's been a warning there. So who's that to? Car 27. Now I'm getting confused. That's Chad Parker. So, oh no, excuse me, car 7. So that would have been, yeah, one of the cars down. of Jeff Applegren as well. So they have to yield to these leaders. A lot of those cars are not yielding, and that's race control. Tyler, goodness me, I'm I didn't understand that message at all when I read it. Now I do. But that's race control basically telling people to get out of the way.
No, I would actually love to see that message again, because I'm pretty sure that it said car 7 yield position to car 27 for contact in turn 2, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I think that is what that message said, because there we go. Chad Parker retakes the race lead.
Oh, and there's contact between the two. Jeff Applegren's turned around. So this is a replay, I think. Is this a replay, Tyler? I'm a bit confused here. Is this live pictures? But there's certainly been contact between the two here. This is the battle for the lead. And yes, excuse me. This is what's happened between the two. So a drive-through penalty incoming to car 7. That's Jeff Applegren.
Wow. What a race turned on its head. Jeff Applegren he's towed back to the pit lane. He's just given up in that car.
Oh, goodness me, this race, out of nowhere, has turned upside down for Jeff Applegren. He had pole position, was looking good for his first race win. That could be handed to Chad Parker. Now, don't forget behind, Kevin Carlisle is ready to make amends for what happened 7 days ago at Interlagos.
Yeah, Kevin Carlisle with that. He was 7.5 seconds behind. Now he's 1.5 seconds behind. Kevin Carlisle is on a charge forward. And that Apex Racing Team car, he's down now to 1.3 seconds. Chad Parker getting held up in the traffic.
He's got his work cut out for him. Yeah, he's trying to maneuver his way past some traffic here. That was the most confusing few minutes of my life, Tyler. For a second it said, so that yield message, the reason I thought that was a replay, I was saying, why does he have to yield, the 7 and 27? Were we behind the action or something? Because I don't remember seeing that incident.
No, we were
confused right now.
We were on live pictures, but I think what happened was Chad Parker got pushed out a little bit too wide for race control's liking by Jeff Applegren, and then Applegren actually had to yield the position to Parker because of that contact in turn 2. Whenever Applegren took the race lead, Parker went by, Applegren made contact with him, and then all fireworks erupted.
Man, I don't know. I feel like I looked down at the worst time, because as soon as I looked down, I was like, did I miss a replay? I was so confused with what was going on there, but at the end of the day, I know that Parker leads this race. And, of course, unfortunately for Jeff Applegren, he will officially become a DNF for the Nerdworks Racing Team. Madigan will still represent them. He can only, he's doing no greater than 5th at the moment. He's got his work cut out for him for sure. How about Tony Kernan, though? After starting in 10th, he's up in a 4th, Tyler. He's having a brilliant event.
Yeah, Tony Kernan really having a nice event here. But this is what we need to keep an eye on. Kevin Carlisle and Chad Parker. Carlisle gets held up a little bit, but look at who else is there. Current championship leader, William Laster. He sits down in 3rd, just half a second behind Kevin Carlisle. This may be a 3-way battle for the win here in the final 12 minutes.
Certainly will be. It's hot. Man's not hot. No, it certainly is hot. But William Laster here. How extraordinary would it be, Tyler, if he was to luck out? And like they say, in poker, he would suck out and win another race. It'd be definitely earned for sure, though. He's, as we watch the battle for the lead here in your MX-5 class, be certainly earned because he was consistent.
Yeah, he certainly was. He showed some incredible pace here today as William Laster. Wait. Okay, for a second there, the overlay had a bit of an issue, and it showed 7 seconds between Carlisle and Barker. It's actually down to 0.4 of a second, so crisis averted there. But your battle for your lead in the MX-5s is certainly a hot one right now.
Yep, Hartley all over the rear end of Rankin. Rankin searching for race win number 3, as we discussed. So the Lil King Racing driver, he's got his work cut out for him. He's trying to defend here, Tyler, the young man, from one of the best iRacers of all time.
And he's got 10 more minutes that he has to do it. does Elvis Rankin, and so that he can hold on to this one. And if he can, that'll make it 3 for 3 here for the start of the season. And what a start of the season would that have been? This is like that would have been an Aero Nom domination. And he's got 11 minutes standing between him and that third race win. But he's also got Robert Hartley hounding him down his neck. Who knows? We may see a new race winner here in Season 16.
Yeah, this reminds me of some Formula One seasons in the past. You know, Schumacher coming to the field and just blowing people out. I don't think Rankin's doing it on that level for sure, but he's certainly trying to make amends for a third race victory. Here's Kevin Carlisle around the outside. This is a battle for the lead here between Parker and Carlisle. Laster is remaining confident and close behind there. He's just, whoa, they're about to lap one of the MX-5s here. That's the 154 car. This is a nice battle right now as Carlisle. We saw Aero Nom here search for the outside around turn 5. It's not going to work for the American this time round. How about Carlisle going for the switchback? 2 in a 1, won't go in a 7. Let's see if it works.
I'm not. Oh, Carlisle, he's going to stay there. No, he's not. Chad Parker's just going to be able to knock him out on that one. But what a battle we have here for your race lead in TCR.
Laster got his line a bit mucked up there through 7. Now they head through 9 and 10. Let's have a quick S section on the back straight. And we ride on board now with Laster as we watch the 2 drivers ahead, your leaders, fight it out here with less than 10 minutes to go for a race win. Neither of those 2 have won a race. Laster has. And remember, Tyler, like I said, Carlisle's hungry. We know he's got grit. He's got determination. He's got the skill. Whether or not he can win this race is up to him.
Yeah, and I mean, what a comeback that would have been after having an abysmal race last time out in Brazil. If he can come home with a race victory, that would be great. But Chad Parker wants it just as bad. Carlisle goes for the switchback, but an ill contact there between Chad Parker and Kevin Carlisle. They're really leaning on each other. Still contact as they head up the hill.
Robbins racing, boys. I love it. Here's William Laster behind now, though. Could he snatch the lead? I think he's a bit too far behind Kevin Carlisle, but he'll slot himself in a second. Now we got a repeat and a rematch from Interlagos.
It is touring car racing at its finest here. In the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, TCR is really delivering here. In the third round, it was a bit lackluster the last 2, but this time, it is an all-out battle for the race lead. It's come down to 2 of the best in the series. We saw Kevin Carlisle and William Laster battle it out last time and ended up with Carlisle in the wall. This time, they got 8 minutes standing between them and a race victory.
And with that contact, Tyler, do you look at that if you're race control and let it go once again? They made some very good decisions this race for sure. I think you leave that one. I love a bit of extracurricular activity.
I certainly agree, and if anything there, I think that was a little bit more on Chad Parker than it even was on Kevin Carlisle, and Parker was the one who lost out the most. So if I was race control, I would certainly just leave it, but look at Carlisle's pace. He's pulled out a 1-second advantage over here over William Laster.
Yeah, this is very important come the end of the race. Now, if we switch back to the lead of your GS class, Mike Dam leads by 2.8 seconds ahead of Aero Nom. Aero Nom is clawing him back. So we'll keep an eye on this to end the race. It was 2.8 seconds here with less than 7 minutes to go. For the lead in your your MX-5 class, Rankin versus Hartley. Now, excuse me, I thought that was Hartley in P1, but Rankin still defending from one of the greatest iRacers of all time of Hartley. Now, there's a lot of damage to the front end of that Excite Racing driver, as you can see.
Yeah, there certainly is a decent amount of damage, but he's making it work here. Is Robert Hartley. He's looking left, he's looking right, but he can't do anything with it. He has to stay back in line for the time being. Hartley's looking for a move now on Elvis Rankin. This could be the race-deciding move if he can pull it off.
Won't be an arbitrary race victory for Hartley. He'll certainly earn it if he can get this done. He's had pole position this race. He's had the pace at Barber, and it's a track he's ever so experienced at. I always think back to Mid-Ohio, wasn't it, Tyler, as Hartley gets a bit dirt happy there around the outside. I think back to Hartley in the Mustang, binning it in season 14 and giving that race win to Aero Nom. Remember that at the final corner.
Yeah, and that's certainly, I don't think, what Robert Hartley wants to do here. That was such an awful day for Robert Hartley. He led that entire race for the most part and then ended up in a tire wall. But this time, he's not going to do it. He sends it down the inside of Elvis Rankin. They're going to be side by side into, I believe, what's Charlotte's Web. Now they are heading up the hill, and it will be a new race leader, Robert Hartley.
And you saw Rankin have to steer out of it. So Rankin certainly being physical here. And Hartley being physical here. Rankin, though, will have to, these next 5 minutes, he's going to have to give it his all here if you want to maintain his race win streak. He should maintain the championship lead, but the young man is starting to lose ground already here on the back straight. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now back to your TCR leaders. Carlisle ahead of Laster and Parker. It's about 1.2 seconds. This race looks done. I think Kevin Carlisle's got one hand on the trophy.
He certainly does, but it still has 5 minutes left in the race to decide it. Here for Kevin Carlisle. He's extending the race lead now up to 1.4, almost 1.5 seconds now. Carlisle is really just solidifying the fact that he is a championship competitor. Even though he didn't have the greatest first 2 rounds, he can seriously be a threat to these guys for the championship.
There's a lot of traffic, let me tell you that much. This is Carlisle right near Robert Hartley and Rankin. 3 wide here. Goodness me, how did that work?
That was certainly tight there. A GS car, an MX-5. Oh, there's an MX-5 off and into the wall.
Find out who this is. Searching through right now. Was it Eric Klister?
It may have been. Give me just a few more seconds here. Actually, I believe it was Mike Taylor.
Mike Taylor's been down the order. So there's the 66 riding shotgun motorsports driver. And what's happened here? So this is where we went 3 wide earlier. Oh, I don't think this is going to end well. He's being lapped by, tell you what, for Mike Taylor, that was a difficult one. He was being lapped by, I think, 4 or 5 different drivers from 3 different classes of cars all at the same time.
I'm almost wondering here. He just came over into the side of that TCR car then. That was William Laster. So really nothing that Laster could have done there. But makes contact with Mike Taylor, sends him flying off into the wall. Taylor's able to continue, though.
There's a warning there, and that's to William Laster for avoidable contact. So was it Laster that went into Mike Taylor? I'm not sure.
I think it was William
actually.
Laster.
Yeah, so Laster there has got to be careful. I think Race Control have been very lenient this race. What do you think? Good judgments today from Race Control as we watch Childs off the racetrack yet again.
I think today Race Control has been absolutely incredible, as they always are. Into the back of an MX-5 hardcore.
So that MX-5 looked awfully slow. It's still slow there, as you can see in the shot. I tell you what, the 97 there of Jeffrey Cranston, the Craney Customs racing driver, he was awfully slow and in a dangerous position, and I don't think Childs was expecting it at all. He just drove straight into him. Like, Childs had time to react, but I don't think Bobby Childs, Tyler, was expecting a car to be that slow, parked on the apex of the racetrack.
No, and you really don't expect that whenever you're the faster class coming through. You would normally expect drivers to go through at a normal pace. That car was very, very slow then, but it nonetheless under review from Race Control. Just 2 minutes left in this race. I believe we're going to get white flag this time by here for Kevin Carlisle.
Yep, certainly is. Final lap begins for the American, and what a race it's been, Tyler. Carlisle will claim his first victory of the season. Long overdue. He had issues, remember, battling for the lead at Interlagos, and Sebring didn't quite go his way either.
Yeah, neither of those races really have been the ones for Kevin Carlisle, but it's come together today. The bad luck has left here for Kevin Carlisle, and he's just got a few more corners left to negotiate before he comes home with his first race victory of the season. He's got 2 seconds to William Laster. Laster's not going to be able to do anything about it.
Brilliant race from Carlisle. Mike Dam's also on his final lap. Elvis, Rankin, and Hartley will battle to the checkered flag here, so we'll keep an eye on this battle for sure. Oh, this could be very interesting here. We're about 5 seconds away from officially heading to that 1 hour mark. And Hartley, oh, it's getting a bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? For our 9.6K I-rating driver. They head through 7 for the final time. I think he'll be okay here, Robert Hartley, in these final few corners. It'll be a lunge and a half, but here's Kevin Carlisle, who's going to take his first victory of the season. Maybe, Tyler. I'm getting nervous about this number 29 here. Gets out of the way. Kevin Carlisle, though, for round 3, season 16, will win from Barber Motorsports Park.
Kevin Carlisle is your winner here in TCR. Mike Dam, he's just crossed over into the final lap, but we need to look at MX5 because Elvis Rankin and Robert Hartley are side by side through the second to last corner. Hartley's going to get it, though, heading out of the final corner.
It looks an awful lot like the final corner at Mid-Ohio, doesn't it? But with a drag race of the line, Hartley will eject those bad memories out of his head, and he'll claim a much-needed race victory for the championship. For Eero Nomno, it was 2.8 seconds about just under 10 minutes ago. And he's got 1 second here to claw back to the lead to Mike Dam. Now, Tyler, remember we saw this. It's going to go down to the wire. We saw Hartley lose the race at the final corner a couple of seasons ago. It's not over until Dam crosses the checkered flag.
No, it certainly isn't. And with only 7.5 tenths separating them, Eero Nom is majorly quick here. He attacks the curbs through the third to last corner here, and he's going to cycle through the last sector. He's not going to be close enough, though, because Mike Dam, he's going to file his way out of the final corner. Only half a second will separate him. But Mike Dam, out of the last corner, wins here at Barber Motorsports Park.
How incredible is that there? Only 3/10 of a second.
Eero Nom's gotten it.
What's wrong, Tom?
Eero Nom has gotten it. Mike Dam has run out of fuel.
And now I want to check if that's official here. We'll have a look at the official results, but Eero Nom may have crossed the line here by about 100th of a second. I thought it said 3/10 of a second there. It's actually changed as I was saying that. So Eero Nom, unofficially for the moment, has won this race. That's remarkable there across the line. And like, what did I say, Tyler? Half a lap ago. It's not over until he crosses the start-finish line.
It certainly isn't, but final race results are up on your screen.
So apologies there. That was bizarre. It did look like Mike Dam won the race for a second. So there are the official race results. Eero Nom, by what looks like 0.015 of a second, will win your GS class. Ahead of them, it's Carlisle with his first career victory of the Ricmotech SportsCar Series. Laster will still maintain the championship lead, though. Eero Nom, what a fight to the finish, though, believe it or not. Now, was that fuel issues for Mike Dam there across the line? Is that why he was losing so much time?
I think it was. We'll have to go back to a replay, though, after the race results are finished. But I believe he ran out of fuel there at the very last second.
And then over to your MX5 order. It was Hartley ahead of Rankin across the line. What a race it was between those two for the lead. You can see the other notable names on screen. Have a look at those, of course. We'll classify the open leader later on, but Jason Bossi, I think, should maintain the championship lead again for that too. Not the best race for Jacob Beasley. Edgar Sancinelli was a DNF, of course. He's had a lot of moments this race, and if we cycle through the rest of the DNFs, let's not forget Jeff Appelgren. Jeff Appelgren, who could have easily been a winner of this event, has fallen down the order. Michael Key also out of the race early for the Frito Sport Racing Blue team. But those are your race results for season 16. Goodness me, Tyler. To make this worse, I've lost my voice. I can't. I'm just glad enough to shout across the line for that one. But here's a replay of the finish. This is what we're going to look at. Because remember, the start-finish line at Mid-Ohio, I mean, it's the same line. There's no different finish line to the start line.
Yeah, Mike Dam has run out of fuel. He sputtered to the race, to the line there. And Aeronom just able to claim that race victory. What an unfortunate end to the race there for Mike Dam. He had such a dominant performance, and he loses it in the last dying seconds.
Oh, wow. What a race. I can't wait to speak post-race to our drivers. So let's drag in Kevin Carlisle, who took his first career victory of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Kevin, finally great to speak here for the first time. And on a good note, too, it was a hard-fought victory for yourself. And, yeah, the C's parted ahead for sure, but you had the pace all race, and I think it's one to be proud of, one to make up for Interlagos for sure.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought victory on this one. I went off track kind of early, used up some track I shouldn't have, and fell way back to like 8th or 9th. But kept on fighting, kept digging, didn't give up, and just pushed my way to the front. And yeah, it's finally glad to get to talk to you. The whole rallycross season, I didn't get to.
Yeah, we didn't get to. I mean, we'll do it next year for sure, hopefully, or this year, excuse me, 2020. You know, I'm sure you'll make an improvement there. But man, this race, I mean, you talk about the battles between Appelgren and Parker. Chad Parker didn't have the pace. I don't know if pit stops made a difference for you guys. It's really hard to tell in the TCR field because everybody pits so late. Would you rather pit later and get fresher rubber for the end of the race, or do you think the tire warm-up is really that bad, you know, in this car? Because there were quite cold conditions out there. I think the tire warm-up would be quite terrible for you guys.
Yeah, the tire warm up is pretty bad. I think it really determines on where you're at on track. If you have a lot of traffic in front of you, it's better to pit it early, or if you have like some smooth sailing, because the fall offs didn't. It was probably about 4 to 5 tenths between old tires and really good, warmed up tires. So I just opted to stay out because I had pretty clear track, and I just came in whenever I just basically almost ran out of fuel.
And finally, I'm sure you got a lot of people to thank. It's finally good to see, and no bias aside, but an Apex Racing Team car win on an Apex Racing TV broadcast. So something we'll hopefully get used to, I think, in the next few rounds.
Yeah, hopefully so. I want to thank everybody at Apex Racing Team. All those guys are there, super, super talented drivers. And I know, I'm not a known road racer, so I'm trying to learn and soak up as much as I can. And special thanks to the NerdWorks team. We're on the same kind of time schedule because I'm about the only American on Apex. So we train together and work a lot and rub on each other a lot. So special thanks to them, special thanks to you guys and everybody watching at home.
There you go. That's Kevin Carlisle in the number 72. He takes his first victory of the season. Thanks, Kevin. And we'll hopefully see you for the next race, of course. But Tyler, you'll be stood alongside. My voice is going, Tyler, so I'm gonna make this quick. But it's Aeronom race victor for your GS class.
So, Aero, what a way to win a race. You had a pretty unfortunate incident at Interlagos last time out, but you've come home with a race victory, and it was a very close one indeed.
Oh yeah, that was a very close one. I saw he took a little bit less fuel in the pit stop, so I wasn't sure to the end. So when I started to close up in the 3 last laps, so I thought maybe I have a chance.
Well, you certainly did. It was a close one at the line. I think it was something of like 35 1,000ths of a second, maybe. It was incredibly close. Talk us through that second half of the race, because you were really closing in on Mike Dam in those final few laps.
Yeah, the start before the pit stop, there was some mishaps in the traffic, and I lost Mike, and then got more unlucky. So yeah, after the pit stops, I decided to stay out, but then again I lost like 3 or 4 seconds more. So yeah, coming from the pits, I had a little bit better tires. I think that was key why I closed somewhat closer, but he got unlucky with traffic. And I was lucky, so it was all about traffic.
Well, it certainly was then. Who gets it done for you and that Team Bushfink team?
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the organizers and ligaments and you guys in the booth.
There you go, Aeronom, winner of your GS field. Congratulations once again, Aero. Hopefully we get to speak with you in 2 weeks' time back here in the Sports Car Series.
Thanks, guys.
Robert Hartley was winner for your ST class. And Rob, not the easiest of victories today. You did have pole. It's good to see you back, of course, after missing Interlagos. But a race victory, I think. Where did it all go wrong in the pit stop phase? Because you seemed to lose that lead from Elvis Rankin, and you had to fight back for it.
Yeah, I was just making sure I had enough, so I took a little extra. I knew me and Elvis and John was right there too before the pits. I knew we had a pretty good gap and it'd be a battle between us. So I just didn't want to gamble, and I wasn't sure about the fuel, so I took a little extra.
And how's it fitting to see when you were gone last round and even round one, you were there, but for the young Elvis Rankin to be improving race by race, I mean, he could be a force to be reckoned with in the iRacing scene in a few years.
He's doing an excellent job. I mean, he's from last season to this season, his improvement is just amazing. He's going to be great to come.
And bonus question: Are you related to Oliver Hartley? Because last week we were like, we thought you were racing under a fake name, or he came in just to represent the Hartley name while you were gone.
I don't know him actually, and that was the first I've seen of him. I watched a broadcast from him last week, and I seen it, and I was, well, who's this Hartley?
It could have been a long lost brother from the Hartley family. But finally, a lot of people to thank from the Excite Racing team for sure. Schwenke didn't go too well today, did Travis? I think he was involved in some incidents, but I certainly know you got a lot of people to thank.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks to Travis. You know, he works close with me, and thanks to the Excite Racing, and yeah, them TCRs come through the first time and kind of messed up the whole race for the lead between the Mazdas. You know, DJ was right on me, and he got spun. So I think Travis got hit too that first time they came through.
Yeah, definitely. But it's good to see you back on victory lane, mate. So hopefully that happens again at Brands Hatch for the next race. It'll be a 90-minute one for sure. But we'll leave you to it now, Rob, because we've got to speak to a few others. That was Robert Hartley, your race victor for your final class of the day, your MX5 class. And now, Tyler, you will be stood alongside Chad Parker. He came home in third. He could have had his first victory of the season, but he certainly had to work for it today in that D2D esports car.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, you certainly had to work.
My tires just kind of, my tires just kind of fell off a cliff that last 10 minutes or so. And yeah, I thought I'd practiced enough, but I guess in the traffic, I just couldn't really manage the tires enough to get that last 10 minutes. And those two guys behind me had fresh fronts, and they came in like I wasn't even moving. So I just did the best I could do. And I guess I'll take the third and use this as a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, traffic really can be a very difficult thing to deal with, and especially whenever you've got a class that is almost similar pace to you guys in the form of the GS class, as well as the MX-5s, who are way slower than you. So it kind of all intermingles at times in that race, and it can be a real challenge. And obviously, you figured that out the hard way today after you had led for the majority of the race. And then down.
Yeah, it was tough. There were some sketchy spots. I think at one point I was 3 wide with a Mazda and a Mustang, and then me. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's just we're still kind of feeling everything out. But this was a blast. I mean, being able to run up front like that, and it just kind of sucks for the end. But like I said, I'll take it and learn from it, and hopefully keep the ball rolling.
Well, certainly was a nice result for you today, finishing down in third. I know there's got to be at least a couple of people. Who do you want to thank and who gets it done for you?
Yeah, of course. D2D Esports, everybody over there. Bobby for painting up all the cars. D2D Motorsports, Jim List's actual race team. Everybody with the league, all the admins, you guys up in the booth. It's a really great league, and I really enjoy it. I'm glad I was able to get up here finally.
Well, congratulations once again on the third place finish. Hopefully we get to speak with you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Mike Dam, you came home in the second position, and that was quite a bizarre finish. I called you as the race winner, and I swear it classified you at least 0.3 of a second ahead of Aaron. And then as soon as I look away and look back, you're classified in second, no race win. So was that a fuel issue for yourself?
Yeah, it was, unfortunately. Yeah, I thought I had it in the bag too, and last few laps I realized it was going to go. I had 3 laps of fuel, and it was going to go 3 laps. I tried to save as much as I could, but burped on the last.
And things like that really tick you off, don't they? But at the end of the day, I think if you take the positives from this race, you were the quickest driver, you could have easily won the race, and you could be breaking the Estonian of Aaron finally.
Yeah, yeah, there's good things to take away for sure. It's hard to, 100% differentiate on this track. I mean, there's a lot of variables that went on in this race, to do with traffic and just in-class battles and stuff. And I felt like I got, a pretty good hand dealt to me, in the first third of the race with traffic-wise, and I was able to pull a pretty decent gap. But, yeah, it's just you can pick up things here and there that you wish, if you gain a little 0.2 there and 0.2, at a different, if you went through that traffic better, you could have won the race, but you can't think like that. You did your best and gotta go.
So there you go. Sorry, I thought you were going to say more. We'll leave you to it, Mike, but we're going to speak to Elvis before we wrap up quickly, but hopefully you have the best race next time out at Brands Hatch. Mike Dam there, who you just listened to, who has got phenomenal pace this season after switching back to that Mustang. Finally, Tyler, you'll be alongside Elvis Rankin, our final interview for the day. And he unfortunately came home in second, but still a good race and still championship leader.
Yes, so from our calculations, you still hold the lead of the championship, Elvis, but for the third race of the season and only your second place, it's a pretty good start from the season from you.
That's a good start, That one was a little bit bittersweet. The traffic really was getting in me and Robert's way, so I think both of us had our own challenges, but he was just able to come out on top there at the end.
Yeah, it's challenging traffic can be, and but still, though, coming home with a second-place finish, it is the third race of the season. You won the first 2, and like you said, a bit bittersweet then in the end here after the third round.
And so, Tyler, before we head to Brands Hatch next week, it was a tough event here at Barber again in terms of traffic. Brands Hatch, I think, will be a little easier for us.
Yeah, I think Brands Hatch is going to be a little bit easier, but who's to even say, though? Brands Hatch has got its own set of challenges, and it can really go either way. I don't see it being any easier or harder than the Barber Motorsports Park, but I think that it's going to just present its own set of challenges and be challenging in its own special way.
Certainly, and these roaring sports cars, like we said, will be back racing again at Brands Hatch. That will be in 2 weeks' time on the 10th of February. So don't forget the GT Series will be on next week. So don't miss all the coverage on Apex Racing TV. But for the sports car series, it'll be our first 90-minute event of the season. There'll be 2 of them. And it'll be an interesting one for sure. There'll be 2 pit stops we're expecting for both classes of cars. The TCRs, it will be very hard to push for 1 pit stop. We'll wait and see how that fares out. But certainly for the Mustangs and the MX-5s, it will be a challenge for sure. And it will all be broadcasted on Apex Racing TV. Thanks to the viewers for joining us. You've been phenomenal as usual this season. Keep the comments and feedback coming. We hope the entertainment keeps coming for you guys too. But from myself, Jonathan Simon, Tyler Maxton alongside me, and our entire Apex Racing TV crew, we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Visit apexracingtv.com for more information on iRacing broadcasting services. Our winners today, of course, Kevin Carlisle, Aaron and Robert Hartley for our 3 respective classes. And we'll say so long from Charlotte's Web and the Barber Motorsports Park.